There's a man sitting beside a fire, not a fancy fire, just a small one, crackling quietly in the dark. He looks at it for a moment, then he looks at you, and he says something strange. This fire is the reason you exist. Not metaphorically, not philosophically, literally. Without fire, the human brain you are using right now to watch this video would never have been able to grow large enough to exist. And that is just the beginning of what fire did to us. Because fire did not just warm us. Fire did not just cook our food. Fire built us from the inside out. And the story of how it did that is one of the most extraordinary things you will ever hear about what it means to be human. Let us start at the beginning, 1 million years ago. Not ancient Egypt, not ancient Rome. Deep in a cave in South Africa called Wonderwerk Cave, archaeologists found something remarkable. Burnt plant ash, charred bone, the evidence of a sustained, contained fire used deliberately inside a cave. This was not a wildfire that swept through. This was a fire that someone made and tended and sat beside. The person sitting beside that fire was not even Homo sapiens. It was Homo erectus, our earlier ancestor. Smaller brain, heavier brow, longer arms, but sitting beside that fire doing something no other creature on Earth has ever done before or since. Controlling it. Every other animal on the planet either fears fire or scavenges opportunities from it. Hawks circle wildfires to catch fleeing prey. Chimps have been observed watching a fire spread across the savannah without panic, almost with curiosity. But none of them control it. None of them feed it. None of them carry it from one place to another. Only us. And that single fact, the fact that humans are the only species on Earth that controls fire, turns out to explain almost everything strange and unique about our species, starting with your brain. Here is something most people have never thought about. The human brain's extraordinarily expensive to run. At rest doing nothing, your brain consumes 20% of your body's total energy. 20%. For an organ that makes up roughly 2% of your body weight, no other primate comes close. A chimpanzee brain runs on half that proportion. Now think about what that means for our ancestors. To power a brain that size, you need a lot of calories. And getting calories from raw food is incredibly hard and slow. A chimpanzee spends up to 6 hours a day just chewing raw food to extract enough energy to survive. Our ancestors had the same problem. And then, somewhere around 1.8 million years ago, something changed. And the fossil record shows it clearly. Around this time, Homo erectus appeared with something dramatically different from its predecessors. Larger brain, smaller gut, smaller jaw, smaller teeth, all at the same time. Harvard anthropologist Richard Wrangham has spent decades studying this shift. His argument is this: cooking food changed everything. When you cook food, you break it down before it enters your body. You externalize digestion. Your gut does not have to work as hard, which means your gut can shrink, which means the energy that used to go to maintaining a large digestive system could be redirected somewhere else, like a bigger brain. Cooking did not just make food taste better. Cooking freed the energy that built the human mind. Homo erectus had a brain 50% larger than its predecessor, Homo habilis, 50%. And the fossil evidence of that brain expansion aligns remarkably closely with the earliest evidence of controlled fire and cooked food in the archaeological record. In other words, the moment our ancestors started cooking is almost exactly the moment our brains started growing. That is not a coincidence. That is cause and effect written in bone, and it does not stop there. Because fire did not just build the brain, fire gave us the time to use it. Before fire, human days were simple. Sun rises, you move. Sun sets, you stop. The dark was dangerous. Every predator that wanted to eat you was built for the night. Better eyes, better ears, better noses. The dark belonged to them. And then fire changed that. For the first time in the history of any species on Earth, a group of living creatures could sit in the darkness and be safe, not because they could fight off predators, because predators would not come near the light. That gave humans something no other species had ever had before: protected time at night. Hours of safety, warmth, and wakefulness with nothing to do but be together. And what do humans do when they are together with nothing to do? They talk. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years living with the Jew/Hwanzi Bushmen of Botswana, one of the last hunter-gatherer communities on Earth, whose way of life closely mirrors that of our ancient ancestors. She recorded conversations during the day and at night. The difference was striking. During the day, conversations were about practical things, food, work, plans. At night, around the fire, everything changed. The conversations became stories, myths, relationships. Who did what to whom? What happened long ago? What might happen tomorrow? Vissner called Firelight Stories the original social media, and she was not being poetic. She meant it literally. Stories told around fires were the mechanism by which human culture spread, how values were transmitted, how group identity was built, how the young learned what it meant to be part of this particular group of people. Rob Davis, an archaeologist at the British Museum, put it this way: fire provided intense socialization time after dusk, and that was critical for the development of language, storytelling, and early belief systems. Language did not develop in isolation. Language developed in the firelit dark, where you could hear someone's voice but barely see their face, where you had to use words to paint pictures, where stories were the only way to share something you had seen but others had not. Fire invented the evening, and the evening invented language. But fire changed something even more fundamental than that. It changed what humans were afraid of. For most of our evolutionary history, humans were not apex predators, and we were prey. We were soft, slow, and noisy. We did not have claws. We did not have fangs. We had no armor, no venom, no camouflage, and we were trying to sleep on the ground in a world full of lions, leopards, hyenas, and every other creature that had spent millions of years evolving to eat things exactly like us. The night was not our friend. The night was where we died, and then fire flipped that entirely. A lit fire is a wall that no predator will cross. Not because fire hurts them, because fire is unpredictable. It moves, it grows, it throws light in every direction. Every predator on Earth evolved its fear of fire through millions of years of experiencing what fire does to a landscape. It destroys everything in its path. You do not approach it. You run. And here were these strange two-legged creatures who did not run, who sat beside it, who fed it, who carried it. In the eyes of every other animal in the savannah, humans stopped being prey the moment they controlled fire. They became something new. Something that lived inside the most terrifying force in nature. Something you did not approach in the dark. Think about what that meant psychologically. For the first time, the night was not something to survive, it was something to inhabit. The humans sitting around that fire 1 million years ago were not huddled in fear. They were at home, in the dark, for the first time in the history of our species. That shift from prey to the creature that owns the night is not a small thing. That is the moment humans stopped being one animal among many and started becoming something the world had never seen before. Now here is where the story gets strange. Because fire is still changing us. Right now, tonight. Just not in the way you might expect. For 1 million years, the light humans experienced at night was one specific kind of light. Warm, orange, flickering, low intensity, firelight, the photoreceptors in your eyes that set your body clock, the ones that tell your brain whether it is day or night, are sensitive to specific wavelengths of light. Blue light, the kind that comes from the sun, signals to your brain that it is daytime. Stay awake, stay alert, do not produce melatonin. Orange and red light, the kind that comes from fire, barely registers on those photoreceptors at all. Your brain sees a campfire and thinks evening has arrived. Wind down and the day is over. Start producing melatonin. Get ready to sleep. This is not an accident. This is 1 million years of evolution calibrating your sleep system to the specific light of a campfire. Your body literally evolved to wind down beside a fire. And then we invented screens. Smartphones, laptops, televisions, all of them emit blue light, the same wavelength as the midday sun. At 10 o'clock at night, you're pointing a small rectangle of artificial sunlight directly at your eyes, and your brain, which spent 1 million years learning that blue light means day and orange light means evening, has no idea what to do with this. So it does what it was built to do. It suppresses melatonin, and it keeps you alert. It tells every system in your body that it is the middle of the afternoon, and you wonder why you cannot sleep. Harvard Medical School has linked this artificial blue light exposure at night to increased risks of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. Not because screens are inherently dangerous. Because our biology was built around a different kind of night than the one we have created, We built a world that runs on a light our nervous systems were never designed to see after dark. A campfire that kept our ancestors safe, warm, and connected for 1 million years has been replaced by a glowing rectangle of artificial noon, and we carry it with us everywhere. To bed, to the bathroom, and to the dinner table. We traded the fire for the screen and gained almost everything and lost something we cannot quite name. Here's the thing about fire that nobody tells you. The reason sitting around a bonfire feels different from sitting in front of a television is not just aesthetic, it is biological. Your nervous system recognizes firelight in a way it does not recognize any other light source. The warm orange flicker is the specific signal that 1 million years of evolution wired into you as the signal for safety, for community, for the end of the day, for rest. When you sit around a fire, something in you settles, not because it is pretty, because it is ancient, because somewhere in the architecture of your nervous system, firelight still means exactly what it meant to Homo erectus sitting in Wonderwerk Cave 1 million years ago. The day is done. You are safe. You are with your people. And for now, in this moment beside the fire, everything is exactly as it should be. Fire did not just build the human brain, it fed it. It freed it. It protected it. It gave it language and stories and the long, safe evenings in which human culture was born. Everything you've ever known, everything your species has ever built, every story ever told, every idea ever shared, every relationship ever formed across the long arc of human history. All of it happened in the light of a fire. And tonight, when you catch the smell of smoke on the air or feel the pull of a flame, or find yourself reluctant to leave a campfire even when you should go inside, you will know why. That is not nostalgia. That is memory. 1 million years deep.